Welcome to the Eating Habits for Life podcast. I'm Kate Johnston, and I'm an eating habit and weight loss coach for career women. I'll help you become the person who no longer has bad eating habits and loses the weight she really wants to in a way that lasts. Let's start. Hi there. Welcome to the Eating Habits for Life podcast. Thanks for listening in today as I talk to you about weight loss strategies for busy weeks. So sometimes your weeks can just feel so jam-packed and it can feel like there's just no time to do the extra things for yourself and for your health. But I want to share with you that you can have both. You can continue with weight loss progress and you can have a busy week as well. I'm going to give you some weight loss strategies for busy weeks that you can keep in your back pocket for whenever those busy weeks do come up, because I know they will, right? Or you might even currently be in the midst of a busy week and be able to utilize these immediately. Before I completely dive in, to help you form the habits that will help you lose weight and keep it off, I have a weight loss habits free video class plus workbook just for you. So it will help you with simple changes that you can make in several different areas that benefit weight loss. And I make them as easy as possible for you. Plus, when you make changes in these areas, your physical, emotional, and mental health will improve. Your energy will improve, your quality of life will improve drastically, and I can tell you this from personal experience. I have implemented these weight loss habits into my own life, and because of that, I lost weight about 10 years ago and have kept it off since. And in fact, it's actually been fairly easy to keep it off, and I like and eat a fair amount of snacks. So get that free weight loss habits class plus printable workbook with the link in the episode description if you're listening from your podcast listening app like Apple or Spotify, or if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, or with the link right on the episode page if you are currently on my website, katemjohnston.com. if you're listening from there. And just to give you some fun news also, I am coming out with a new free course with a workbook on crushing bad eating habits with some simple strategies for career women. It's in podcast format, so you can listen on the go. There will also be some videos for those who love watching video as well. So it'll be a private podcast. Also, you don't even have to do the steps for the private podcast. You can just watch the video and listen to the audio right on the page that I will send to you after you sign up for the free class. So that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. This particular course is going to be even better than all of my previous free classes, I think at least, so I'm excited to bring that to you. All right. The first of the weight loss strategies for busy weeks is a mindset strategy, because this will help you with how you feel. And how you feel, your emotions, will then greatly affect what actions or inactions that you take, which will then, of course, cause some sort of results, right? So if you think about it, during those busy weeks, we want to either maintain weight or lose weight, right? Those would be the two preferable scenarios. So a less desired result would be to gain weight during a busy week. Because if you're trying to lose weight, of course you don't want to gain weight. Not the end of the world if you do, right? But just a desired result of not gaining weight. And especially if you're someone who has a lot of busy weeks, right? You want to be able to maintain or even lose weight if you're someone who has a lot of busy weeks. Therefore, if the desired result is to not gain weight, then you're going to have to take certain actions or inactions to not gain weight. That means you're going to want to feel a certain way to be able to take the actions or not do certain things that will then help you to either maintain weight or lose weight, but not gain weight, right? So feelings that would help to do the actions that you need to do are generally going to be those positive feelings. Feelings that won't help you to get the result that you want would be feelings or emotions such as overwhelm, discouragement, maybe frustration, also like annoyance, right? So if you're looking at a busy week in a way that's making you feel overwhelmed or annoyed or discouraged, that's not going to be helpful. Therefore, you're going to want a mindset. You're going to want to think about your busy week in a way that won't cause those unhelpful feelings, those negative feelings or emotions. Also, just a side note, the word busy is an adjective, right? So this is subjective. So you could ask 20 people what they thought of your week ahead of you, and maybe 19 would say that it's a busy week, but not necessarily everyone, right? So everyone might have a difference of opinion. Some might think it's a little busy. Some may think it's crazy busy. Some may think it's not busy at all. So the term busy is very subjective. So really keep that in mind for when you're describing your week, right? So you're going to want to think about your busy week in a way that will help to keep you feeling good and feeling motivated. So that may be looking at your week and thinking something like, I have things on my schedule and it's nothing I can't handle. Or maybe something like, I may have a busy week, but I always have time for myself and my future. Right? So now think about it for a moment, right? If you thought one of those thoughts to yourself, how would that make you feel? Like, how would you feel in your body? What emotion? As opposed to if you thought something like, ugh, I have such a busy week. There's no way I'm going to get everything done. Or if you have a thought like, I'm never going to be able to lose weight if my schedule keeps looking like this. Right? Or it can even be something more simple and sneaky, like I have no time. That simple sentence can seem innocent enough because you've probably said it to yourself multiple times. I have personally, or said it to someone else. But because of that, the thought, I have no time, can become a thought habit, which can then make you feel like you're in time scarcity, like you literally have absolutely no time, right? And if you feel like you're in time scarcity or lack of time, what do you think is going to end up happening? You're probably going to be less likely to make time for the things that will help you to lose weight because you're going to feel like you don't have time. So you may end up getting takeout more often than you want to. You may end up going to bed late and not getting enough sleep because you feel like you need to stay up later to do all the things you need to do, right? You may end up forgetting to drink water because you're rushing around doing other things, thinking that you're so busy or you don't have time. You may end up feeling really stressed, right? Which doesn't help with weight loss either. You may also skip your long walk or your workout because you feel like you don't have time. So if you're thinking something more neutral or even positive, such as I have things on my schedule and I have enough time to do them and take care of myself, you're going to feel probably a little bit more relaxed, maybe more productive, more motivated. So these are all feelings that will help you to do the things that you need to do and that you want to do for yourself and for your weight loss progress. So just improving that mindset about your busy week will drastically improve how you feel and also substantially increase the likelihood that you will do the actions that you need to do to get the results that you want. Now, if you're used to thinking something very negative, it might be hard for you to go to positive, to the other end, right? Or you might not truly believe something on the other end, something positive. So that's why you can sort of go to a little bit more neutral. So something that doesn't necessarily have like a negative charge to it, but not necessarily like super positive either. And so this universally agreed upon concept of thoughts causing your feelings, which then cause your actions, which then of course lead to results. This is all part of coaching. This is one of the tools that I use to help my clients. And Brooke Castillo, she's the founder of the Life Coach School. So she's actually made a whole bunch of tools around this concept. So something called the model is a very popular tool. So it sort of incorporates this. She is brilliant. So you can essentially feel anything that you want to feel by thinking what you want to think. Sometimes we need to break some thought habits or maybe question our thoughts or maybe shift them around a little bit to feel a certain way. Also, you can increase the likelihood that you'll do actions that you want to be taking to get the results you want by changing the way that you feel. And of course, doing the right actions will always help you with the results, but doing them with thoughts and feelings that back them up, that align with those actions, will make it way easier for you. Also, what coaching is all about too is if you're not doing the actions that you need to be doing to get the results you want, figuring out why. So what thoughts and feelings are you experiencing that are causing you to not do the actions that you either know you should be doing or want to be doing to get the results that you desire? So coach just really helps you to figure this out. So this whole thoughts, feelings, actions, results is a super helpful tool with eating habit and with weight loss coaching, which is why I bring it into this podcast episode today to sort of explain it a little bit to you. And it's really helpful even just with coaching on anything. This helps with stress. It helps with time management. It helps with your perception of time, as I just showed you. It helps with your relationships with other people even. So I can use this coaching tool on just about anything to help you with all the things that are affecting your eating habits and weight loss. All right. So the next of the weight loss strategies for busy weeks is managing your expectations and changing your goals a little bit for that week specifically. So what I mean by this is if you are someone who has the occasional really busy week here and there, it can be very beneficial for you to just set a little bit of a different goal or expectation for yourself for that week. That way, you don't feel like a failure if you don't lose weight that week. You're also meeting yourself where you are by accepting that that week is just going to be a little bit of an exception to the rest of the weeks, right? So if you normally get in 5 days of cooking, a healthy meal, for example, and you normally get in 3 days of exercising for an hour each time, you might have to just lower the expectation a little bit to give yourself a little bit of grace for that super busy week. Be a little bit more realistic if you can, right? Or it might be realistic to get all the normal stuff done as well. But just in case, then you're meeting yourself where you are. You're not expecting yourself to have all the additional things on your schedule and still keep up with 100% of what you were keeping up with before as far as weight loss habits. And again, this is just one of the strategies. It may not be the one that you necessarily choose for yourself, but I'm just putting this out there because I've seen this be really helpful for people, and especially helpful for perfectionists. Perfectionists have a tendency of having all or nothing thinking, which just means that if you didn't get it 100% perfect, then it's considered a failure, oftentimes leading to giving up. Not a great way to look at things, right? So if you're having a busy week and you're thinking that you need to do it all, but then you can't do it all, then you might do none of it. You might just stop completely. And that's not going to get you the weight loss results that you want, whether that be losing weight or simply maintaining for that week. So I'd rather you change your all that week to maybe 70 or 80%, for example. So meaning if you normally get in 5 days of cooking a healthy meal, and you normally get in 3 days of exercising for an hour each time. And that's a routine, like not so crazy busy week, then maybe for the crazy busy week, shoot for 70 to 80% of that. And then if you meet it, then that's a really big success. So basically I'm saying 70 to 80% would be your 100% for that particular week. Does that make sense? All right, so anything beyond that would just be extra credit. Consider it a bonus. So maybe plan on just doing 4 days of cooking a healthy meal and 3 days of exercising, but only for a half an hour each time. And when I say exercising, that includes going for a walk, right? Exercising doesn't have to be going for a run or doing heavy weightlifting session or going mountain biking. Exercise looks different for everyone. So as long as you're moving your body and getting that blood flowing, which walking does that. Okay, so the third of the weight loss strategies for busy weeks is to plan ahead of time. When you know you have a busy week coming up, set aside 15 minutes to plan ahead for the week. This means planning as many of your meals as you can, and you don't have to get very specific, right? But at least just plan on if you are cooking, if you're eating leftovers, or maybe popping something into the microwave, right? So plan in your days that you would like to exercise as well. Plan ahead of time how you'll be sure to get all of your hydration in. Sometimes when we're busy, we forget about drinking water. Also, plan ahead of time what time you'll be going to bed and sticking to that plan. When we have busy weeks, we can tend to get to bed a lot later than we want to. And then we feel fatigued. And then maybe we're not as productive or efficient the next day, and that can end up wasting time. So plan as much as you can plan ahead of time and write it down. Planning it ahead of time and writing it down will make it more likely that you'll stick with the plan rather than not planning or planning and just sort of keeping it in your head, right? So planning ahead of time not only saves you some time and makes the week easier, but it also makes it more likely that you'll stick with the actions that will help you to continue losing weight even during a busy week, or maintaining your weight during a busy week and not going backwards, right? So for this reason, I use lots of planning strategies with my clients to help them follow through on actions more easily and get in the habit of doing that and feel like their weeks are more organized and kind of less messy. Because when things are less organized or when they're kind of messy, they can feel a little bit more stressful or a lot more stressful, and it's also less likely that you'll get done what you wanted to get done. All right. So the next of the weight loss strategies for busy weeks, along with planning ahead, is to double or triple what you're making for a meal. I cannot tell you how helpful this is for my husband, Paul, and I. Lots of nights we are running around doing different things and going different places, so we don't have time to cook. Tonight, for example. So myself, along with a friend of mine, we run a track practice, like a track workout, right? So for a group of us that get together and do that. And so we don't have time to cook tonight. So we will refer to something in our fridge that's a leftover, maybe from the weekend. So instead of getting any sort of like takeout, right, or going out to eat on a night like this, what we do is we batch cook 1 or 2 meals for the week. A lot of times one of those will be on the weekend, and that just means that we'll double or triple whatever it is that we're making. So we have enough for at least 1 more meal, sometimes 2 or 3. It only adds like 10 minutes or so to the prep and cooking duration. And if you don't feel like leftovers all week, you can freeze some. And after a couple of weeks of doing this, you should have a good selection of some dinners in the freezer that you can just pull out. Or if you're like me and you actually like leftovers, but you prefer not to eat them like 3 days in a row, then you don't need to have the leftovers the next day. You can maybe skip a day or 2 and then have the leftovers later on in the week. Okay, so the fifth of the weight loss strategies for busy weeks that I want to share with you in this podcast episode is to use the alarm on your phone, set reminders, and even write post-it notes to help yourself out. So utilize tech and utilize paper and pen to help yourself out. Because you're busy that week, there's probably going to be more going on in your brain, right? That means you're going to be more likely to forget to do the things that you need to do to either maintain or continue losing weight for that week. So do yourself a favor and make it easier for yourself by setting alerts, alarms, reminders, what have you, on your phone to assist you. So think of your phone as being your little office assistant with weight loss, right? Or if you're a paper kind of a person, write post-it notes and leave them in strategic places. Because believe me, you're not going to remember everything on your own. I've seen it time and time again with myself and also with my clients. I am constantly reminding myself and reminding some of my clients that need assistance with this to help themselves out by writing these post-it notes and setting alerts and reminders on your phones. This is especially important for establishing new habits and doing things that are new to you, but also very important for those busy or even stressful weeks, because even if it's not something new and you feel like you're pretty confident that you'll remember to do it, on those weeks that you're busy, it will actually be more likely that you will forget. So even with an established habit or something that you felt confident with already, you can pretty much assume that it's going to be more difficult to remember to do it because of the other things on your mind, right? So just take that extra 5 seconds or 10 seconds to utilize your phone or a post-it note to help you out. Now, if you want even more on this, check out my blog post on 9 time-savvy tips for healthy weight loss. I give you some smaller tips to sort of go along with this. And yes, I also have a blog. So if you're someone who also enjoys short reads, then visit my website and check out my blog posts. They are on the same page as the podcast episodes. You will find a very large selection of blog posts and also every single podcast episode that I've ever done. So all of that is right in that one place on my website, which is again, katemjohnston.com. And if you want to go specifically to that podcast and blog post page, then it's katemjohnston.com/podcast. And to get that weight loss habits free class plus the workbook, use the link in the episode description or the link right on the episode page on my website. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you next week. Become the person who loves her eating habits and her body so you can enjoy more of your life. I'll help. Start now by just setting up a time to talk with me by visiting katemjohnston.com/consult.